We need reparations, we need vacations, we need blue strips for all the time we spend waiting. We gon' kill for what we owe, Joe, we not playing. Mr. President, I think it's time we get paid. I watch all of my people die. Why your people try to act like we commit crime? Get killed on TV, got our kids scared to go outside. It's time you pick a side. Before we turn this bitch up, Mr. President better fall in line. Yeah, we don't need loans, we need what we owe. We need police to stop killing sisters inside their home. And when it happened and we burn this bitch down, they need to stop telling us we was wrong. Ay, and we need unity. We need the government to stop bringing drugs in our community. They better stop playing, we not the ones. You got guns and we got guns. We kill if you play with our funds. Yeah, how we supposed to restore when they won't give us more? When they got knees on our necks when we walk out the store. How we heal when they go to the park, kill a 12-year-old boy for killing, we ready for war. Yeah, and we need reparations, we need vacations, we need blue strips for all the time we spend waiting. We gon' kill for what we owe, Joe, we not playing. Mr. President, I think it's time we get paid.
Hey, yo, peace, greetings to you all. It's your brother Naheem, BKA Lord Abba, aka Mr. Just the Facts. I'm working with some new lighting, so I may have some distortions going on, man, with the StreamYard thing. So y'all bear with me as I get through this, man. Shout out to the family that's in the building so far. BTP Riri is on deck. What's going on, BTP Riri? My sister Kelly Pryor, BTP, the admins are in the building. What's going on, brother? Keenan Wright says salute to the chat. Y'all back. You know, the fam is in here. Yo, y'all share the video out. We're going to talk today about what's going on in these political streets right now. You know, Elon and Trump, they beefing. It's serious. It's serious. I called this, man. I called this. It wasn't nothing that I said publicly, but I would look at Elon in the Oval Office standing next to Trump, and he would just seem off to me. It would seem off to me, you know. So, I mean, we going to talk about it today. We are definitely going to talk about it today. Make sure y'all share the video out. Now, y'all know we get a lot of viewers on X. I would like for the people on X/Twitter to come on over to the YouTube channel that we got to rebuild. We're trying to rebuild the YouTube channel, man. It don't look good to see, you know, a handful of people watching on YouTube and it's like 300 people watching on X. Like, we gotta get the YouTube channel numbers back up. But nevertheless, man, share the video out. Support the platform, of course. You could send your contributions via the super chat, or you can hit us up at $ be the power for the Cash App. Go to our websites, USADOF.org. Read the information there. It's very, very powerful. I just finished a white paper for United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen. We put it on the site to be published, and I can't wait. I can't wait for that to hit the, hit the public, man. That is going to be powerful. It's going to shut some things down. Some things will be shut down insofar as trying to question, because we had this one guy that is aligned with ADOS. He wrote a paper trying to go at Freedmen status. Maybe the beginning of the year, could have been last year, and he didn't know what he was talking about, man. He didn't know what he was talking about. So, we gonna get it in today. We definitely gonna get it in today. So, fam, look, y'all check out our other website. Matter of fact, bethepower.org. Go check out the website. That one, we're gonna revamp that website pretty soon. So I want people to know that this thing, we're still in motion. Our bill, let me put everybody on to what's going on in the state of Massachusetts real quick. This bill was written by our own hands right here. Let me share this with the family so they can know that we've never stopped working. Even when we're quiet and silent, know for a fact that we are still working. So let me break this down real quick. This is Bill HD 3879. We're suspecting that it is going to move through the judiciary very fast. And once it does, it's going to get a new bill number. So then it'll just be H and whatever new number that they generate for it. But this is an act establishing a Massachusetts agency of Freedmen Affairs. And we wrote this, y'all. Now they added some things, right? They change, real minimal changes, because there's a format that these pieces of legislation have to be written in. And so, the piece was going on. BTP Shanna is in the building. So this is it right here, man. This is it. This is a big deal. The language that we used in this bill, if it comes for a battle, a courtroom battle, where the doctrine of strict scrutiny, right? If it makes the Supreme Court, it will pass the strict scrutiny test. It will pass that test. This thing is powerful, man. It is powerful. What are we looking for? Let me get into some of that before I get into the main topic. Section 2A says, the Office of Freedmen Affairs is hereby established as a state agency to provide resources, advocacy, and oversight on matters affecting American freedmen residing in the Commonwealth. There's no ambiguous language in what we drafted here. None. And we removed the racial element. When they put this through their own judicial committee for review, we submitted breakdowns. We submitted breakdowns showing why we believe that this will survive a strict scrutiny challenge, because we're not basing this on race. We're not basing this on ethnicity. The American freedmen have a specific status in this country that has legal signification. And I'm going to break that down. Y'all make sure that y'all check out the Freedmen University channel, because I'm going to put that up on the Freedmen University channel, Free You. And it's going to be a synopsis of the white paper. And we're going to get into some of that. That white paper is thorough, man. It is the culmination of all the past 5-6 years of our research. And, I'm very proud of United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen and Be the Power. So I just want to give a shout out to my team, man. We stay with it. That stick-to-itiveness is still there. We're not going anywhere. We're going to keep stepping and keep stepping, because every step we make is a step up. And the only way you can pull the people up is if you step up. So let me see. It says the office shall be led by a director appointed by the governor. The director shall serve a term of 5 years and may be reappointed for additional terms. Section 3, the director of the Office of Freedmen Affairs shall be responsible for the supervision and management of the Office of Freedmen Affairs work. This work includes, but is not limited to, providing guidance to the governor and legislature on policies and programs to support American freedmen residents. 2, advocating for the equitable allocation of state resources, funding, and opportunities tailored to American freedmen. 3, enhancing access to state programs, benefits, and services for American freedmen through strategic outreach and education initiatives. I smile as I read this because, you know, this, like I said, this is the culmination of our work right here. And I can't help but to feel proud about it. You know, shout out to United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen. Shout out to my team. I got a very, very strong team. And we didn't come here to play. We didn't come here to entertain. We didn't come here to gossip with people and just make content, which is why we're hardly on this piece. We came here to get busy, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're getting busy. So let's get into this Elon Musk thing, right? Elon Musk versus Donald Trump. So we know that when you're looking at it, this is a clash of the titans right here. And they've had beef before. I remember Trump said something to the effect of, you know, Elon came to the White House and he was on his knees begging for, I was like, this dude Trump is a savage, man. And, you know, they had their beef. Beef. And then it seems as if they squashed the beef. And, you know, Elon was putting like $1 million a day. And, you know, Elon made some spicy tweets today. Elon wasn't playing. Elon was like, I don't care if this dude is savage. I got the tech bros on my side. And I was listening to a space earlier, you know, a bunch of whites up in there, and, you know, they were split. It was some people who was, you know, talk about this made their stomach hurt. It's like, it made me ask the question, who really holds the power? Which one of them are really fighting for the people? I don't like Elon Musk. It's, you know, I just think that he's a bigot. I really do. But Doge, the Department of Governmental Efficiency, it appeared as if it was, you know, it was breaking down some of the overspending and eliminating it. And when we're looking at it from that perspective, it's like, okay, you know, I ain't really feeling Elon, but all right, man, you know, he's cutting some of this waste and this fraud. My people still suffering. We're gonna get to that part towards the end of this. My people still suffering. But, you know, for the most part, the office, the Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency uncovered some things that no one could turn a blind eye to. And I made a tweet, and it was speaking about, I was reposting something about certain Republicans being upset about this and other Republicans being in favor for it. And I said something to the effect of, these people never go into the White House to drain the swamp. They come with their straws, because that swamp water, you know, it's an acquired taste. It's an acquired taste, and we have to be honest about that, if we're being honest. So, you know, let me see, man. I got my notes here, of course. So I came up with that concept. If you look at the thumbnail, Trump is holding the ballot and Elon is holding the bag. Who has the power? Because there was a split online. And one of them people in that space, these people have 20, 30, 40, 50,000 followers, said that they put up a poll, whose side do you stand on in this clash? And dude was saying that his poll was pretty much 50-50. I'm like, whoa, interesting. I didn't see the poll. I wanted to jump on here today and talk about it because, we have these conversations among ourselves. And I think that having these discussions live with everybody is crucial to keeping our thing going and us keeping up with our own political education. Right? We got to keep this thing cycling. And we typically do Twitter Spaces, but I haven't been on here in a couple of weeks since we did. No, it wasn't the Sinners Breakdown. We did something after the Sinners Breakdown. I can't remember exactly what it was, but we'll get on here and break some things down, man. But I'm curious, man, if you had to choose between Trump and Elon, right, and the people, Trump's people, and the people that Elon would bankroll to get rid of the waste in what's called the big beautiful bill, who y'all choosing? Let me get some comments in the chat. Let me get some comments in the chat, man. Yeah, Sister Reed, it was 50-50, man. 50-50. I was like, whoa, it's up right now. MAGA world and the techies and all of these different people, they feeling some kind of way about this. I wanted to talk about it because ain't nothing been proposed for the American freedmen across the nation, aka black folk. So we're gonna talk about this thing, and that's a fact. That's a fact. But let's finish. Let me see. Jamal said Elon is only mad because the bill cuts spending that affects his companies. I don't know, but Trump put out a tweet saying that, pretty much saying that now I'm gonna cut the funding to Elon's programs, and then Elon shot back saying something about defunding some dragon program. I don't know. I might pull some of this stuff up in a few so we could go through it. They really going back and forth. And Elon ain't holding no punches. He's in full troll mode. This dude put up a video of Trump partying with Epstein. I'm like, oh, the shit done hit the fan. This shit done hit the fan. I'm on, being an instigator on Twitter /X, why not? See how this thing fractures this country and what type of political earthquake that it's going to cause, because we got one problem up out of the way, and that's the Democrats. What is the next problem that needs to get put up out the way? And it is the ignoring of our people by these political parties. And the Democrats, they pacify so much that it's hard for the average person to not understand that the elites among us, whom I call the buffer class, are duping them to vote every election cycle for people that are really trying to protect their jobs, bringing in millions of immigrants to replace their labor, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So Jamal said Trump had already said he was going to stop electric vehicles. I don't recall Trump saying that. I think Trump was saying, I'm sweating. I recall Trump saying something to the effect of, he was going to put more investments into regular vehicles. I don't recall him saying that he was going to stop electric vehicles. I don't think that's what the issue is. And I'm not sure I don't think there's anything in the bill. I didn't read the bill, but of course I ran it through the AI to see what it generated. And I really wasn't seeing too much of anything that conflicted with anything that Elon Musk had going on. Now, and again, I did a cursory review earlier, so I could be missing some things. But what's in that bill? What's in that bill is the infrastructure, tax cuts, energy, and defense, right? And there's some people who are complaining about that because it is projected that, the CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, I believe it's called, that $2.4 trillion will be added to the deficit over the next 10 years. Now, you got some people in Trump's camp saying that the Doge cuts will be canceling out, what's going on, brother Iron Physique. Okay, brother said he got a link to the receipts. Let me see if I can see that. Let me see. Yeah, see, I can't see the links from the live from Twitter. I can't see those. So let me see. Let's get into some of these tweets though. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. Let's get into some of these tweets, man. Look at me amping it up. Oh, all right, let's click on this joint. So Trump said the easiest way, hold on. Trump said the easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. So, it shows that there was some phony friendship happening between the two, if this is a statement that Trump is putting out. And Elon responded with, in light of the president's statement about cancellation of my government contracts, SpaceX will begin decommissioning its Dragon spacecraft immediately. I didn't look up the Dragon spacecraft. You know what? Let's do that real quick. What is the Dragon spacecraft? Let's look that up. All right. The SpaceX Dragon spacecraft is a family of spacecraft developed by SpaceX, including versions for cargo resupply, crew transportation, and potential Mars exploration. The original Dragon 1, funded by NASA, served as a cargo resupply vessel for the ISS, flying 23 missions before retiring. The newer Dragon 2, with both Crew Dragon and cargo versions, is now a primary means of transporting astronauts to and from the ISS and continues to deliver cargo. This version was designed by SpaceX, was funded by NASA. Okay, so yeah, man, Elon is saying that he's about to decommission. That means that the government is going to have to revamp the original Dragon spacecraft or create a similar version, which is going to cost the government. Oh, this is going to get really, really interesting, fam. This is going to cost the government some money. This is going to cost the government some bread. So let me see. What else? This is me saying, oh, shit, at the Elon. Oh, there you go. Elon sharing this post of Trump.
Giving Epstein his personal attention. The footage, shot in November of 1992, before Trump opened the resort as a club, shows the future president surrounded by cheerleaders for the Buffalo Bills and Miami Dolphins, capturing Trump's fun-loving bachelor lifestyle for an appearance on Faith Daniels' NBC talk show.
We're going to get great ratings in your show.
Trump is surrounded by women as music blares in the background. After a while, Trump goes to greet 3 new guests, among them the financier Jeffrey Epstein, more than a decade before his guilty plea on state prostitution charges.
It's getting spicy in these political streets right now. Then I posted this one, let it heat up. Steve Bannon calls on Trump to deport Musk back to South Africa. I quote, I am of the strong belief that he is an illegal alien and should be deported from the country immediately. Yo, I mean, I got some people on the team that says the same exact thing. Deport Elon. And I retweeted this one. The beef is back on. And this was the one that was crazy to me. It says, without me, Trump would have lost the election. Dems would control the House and the Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate. So Trump is saying, through this X platform, through the millions of tens of millions of dollars that I spent like they were $100 bills at a strip club for this political election. Yo, Trump, you wouldn't have won this thing, man. You wouldn't have won. And then he put such gratitude as the next tweet. And then Scott Pressler, whom I'm familiar with, we follow each other on Twitter. This dude got millions of followers. He was in PA stomping. I can tell you that. Every one of his posts was from Pennsylvania. And he's posting like just leaving this here. And, you know, Scott Perry won by this amount of votes. 42,000 of Perry's votes came from mail-in voting, and early voting helped keep his seat. So this is something that we know that Pressler was doing on the ground out there for Trump. I know because, like I said, we follow each other on Twitter, so I was seeing all of those posts. So, you know, and people are split on this thread. You know, you got people, this post is incredibly arrogant. No, sir, without we, the people, he wouldn't have been elected. You did not choose the president, we did. People saying this is not accurate. Somebody saying, please stop. We love you both so much. This is fracturing everything we built. Please, Elon, I haven't been so happy as I've been these last 6 months. Please, like they begging for the beef. Then you got people that's, you know, from the left that's egging it on. All the poor little maggots have to choose which of their MAGA parents they're going to be fed shit by in the future. So here's even Kilgore. Who do you agree with on the BBB, the big beautiful bill? Let's just click Elon Musk, right? And on this poll, 6,448 votes. People agree with Elon. I look at some of the people that I rock with in Black conservative spaces, like my sister Sonny Johnson. It seems like, I don't want to speak definitively. It seems like she sided with Elon on this. I was able to look at some of the provisions in that bill. They don't look good. This is not what the people, it's not what they voted for. You didn't come to drain the swamp. You just brought your straws with you. You just brought your straws with you. This person says Elon Musk was more popular at the Madison Square Garden rally in New York than President Trump himself. We all saw it. So this thing is split. We have some beef going on in these political streets right now. You know, Khalil said they need to be focused on repairing the economy. Exactly. You know, my brother Judicially Affirmed says when elephants, GOP, I'm guessing I'm going to modify that. When elephants stomp, meaning the GOP, the grassroots suffer. That's a great analogy right there, because it shows that we are probably going to get lost in the sauce in all of this, but it's not for them to fix us. It's for us to fix us. And this is why we are vehement about, you know, our motto, don't just fight the power, become the power, and then you have the power to make a change. This was another one. I said, let the beef reignite. And Trump, let's see if we can hear this. I
would have won Pennsylvania. I won by a lot. But I'm very.
See if y'all can hear that.
But if they picked him, I would have won Pennsylvania. I won it by a lot. But I'm very disappointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here, better than you people. He knew everything about it. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden he had a problem, and he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate, because that's billions and billions of dollars, and it really is unfair. We want to have cars of all types. Electric, we want to have electric, but we want to have a gasoline combustion. We want to have different. We want to have hybrids. We want to have all. We want to be able to sell everything. And when that was cut, and Congress wanted to cut it, it became a little bit different. And I can understand that. But he knew every aspect of this bill. He knew it better than almost anybody. And he never had a problem until right after he left. And if you saw the statements he made about me, which I'm sure you can get very easily, it's very fresh on tape. He said the most beautiful things about me. And he hasn't said bad about me personally, but I'm sure that'll be next. But I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot.
To that end, Mr. President, I just want to clarify, did he raise any of these concerns with you privately before he raised them publicly? And this is the guy.
So, and they cut that answer off. And this is by a
but if they picked him, I would have won Pennsylvania. I won by a lot.
1.4 million followers. Some people speculate that some of these are Elon's burner accounts. I don't know. I mean, that'll be hard. That'll be hard to tell, but to discern. But I mean, he posted it. Elon retweeted it. It has 44.6 million views on Elon's post. And Elon's response to what Trump said was false. This bill was never shown to me even once and was passed in the dead of night so fast that almost no one in Congress could even read it. So I guess this is what Brother Jamal was talking about. Well, he was talking about the EV mandate. So that's not cutting the electric vehicles off completely. That's not what that does. That's not what that does. But this is crazy. So let's what is it, the EV mandate in the US? The US electrical vehicle EV mandate, or California's zero emission vehicle mandate, refers to the requirements established by the US Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, and California's Air Resource Board to increase the production and sale of EVs. Oh, okay. So this mandate, this government mandate would have helped. So I see what Trump is talking about. So Trump is saying, let's cut that mandate to overproduce electric vehicles. Why? Because if you are the gas lobby and you've given Trump who knows how many millions of dollars, you know how politics goes, man. One hand washes the other, and both hands wash the face, or something like that. And when you get millions of dollars, you're going to do things. You're going to bring in people from Elon's country saying that they are being persecuted when they're not. They're over there living their best lives. You're going to tell Elon, Tesla is not going to be the dominant EV company in the United States of America because the gas lobby and the automotive lobby, they want their fair share of the American power. American greed is not going anywhere. It's just American greed is not going anywhere. Let's keep it a buck. Where am I? Why can't I see myself? What's going on here? That's why. Right? American greed is not going anywhere. It's just not. My sister Riri said Elon got too comfortable. I don't know, man, Sister Riri. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like Elon, but I'm kind of split. Let me see. My brother Truth to Power says Elon wanted an EV mandate along with the monopoly on EVs. And that's probably what it was. That's probably what it was. And, he wanted to control the EV market. And he figured, I'm going to put a bunch of money into Trump's campaign. I mean, this dude was spending like $1 million a day. $1 million a day. So, yep. It's an African proverb: when elephants fight, the grass suffers. That was an excellent post, brother. Yeah, I see you, brother Jamal. Let me see. All right, let me get back to some of my notes. So here are some of the things that people criticized with the bill. What was missing? Housing, healthcare, and debt relief. Let me tell y'all, man, there are some diehard Trump fans that I think are absolute racists on the Twitter app. People like Gunther Eagleman, Clown World, Meme World of Meme, whatever they're called. And they were making posts, man, talking about the Republican Party has let me down. See, they didn't blame Trump directly. They didn't blame Trump directly. They don't want to shoot at Trump. But what they're doing is they're shooting at the party whose hands are pretty much tied at the moment. Their hands are tied. It's like, well, what do we do? What do we do in this situation? We got to do something. We can't not do nothing. We got to vote. If we vote for the bill, our base may not be feeling us. And the only thread that will be keeping us together is the popularity of Trump. But then you got Elon. And Elon's popularity has soared. There's a split on X right now. I don't know how it looks outside of X, but there is definitely a split on X right now. And shout out to all the members of the Be the Power YouTube channel. Peace to Brother Red Rock. You can become a member. Click on that membership link and become a member of the channel. You help support the channel, help keep the channel going, helps us pay the bills. Visit our websites, USADOF.org and BeThePower.org. You can also donate. United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen is a nonprofit, and we put in work for our people, fam. And that's exactly what we're doing. I have an event coming up in Charlotte for Juneteenth. I'll be making an announcement on that very soon. And we got some things happening. We are never gonna stop moving this thing until y'all start seeing us as the politicians and those people that have been touched by this platform and our political advocacy and our political education and breakdowns, etc., etc., etc. So shout out to everybody that's in. All of y'all people that's watching on X, man, why don't y'all come on over to the YouTube channel, Be the Power YouTube channel. Click like. Give us a like, man. Just give us a like on the channel. And you want to go back to watching on X, you could go back and watch it on. We're trying to build the YouTube channel back up. Let me see. My sister Reed said, deport Elon. Hey, Steve Bannon is calling for the deportation of Elon, says he believes that Elon is an illegal immigrant. And, he might be. I want to see some papers, man. I want to see some papers. If he's an illegal immigrant, get him up out of here. Get him up out of here. Jamal says Trump has to play politics as well. The gas giants have long money just like Elon. Yeah, collectively, I'll give you that, brother Jamal. Collectively, I'll give you that. I'll definitely give you that. Shout out to our USADOF member, our sister Isla, admin on the platform, also a member of the platform. Visit our BeThePower.org website /math. And math means men at the head. It is a call for men to lead in political decisions, and come support our campaign so that you could have your voices heard. I was in Charlotte this past Monday, and I was at a meeting called Man to Man, where the men of the community are meeting every month so that we can come up with solutions for what plagues our people in today's day. I mean, it's the same thing that plagues us now. And it was such a powerful discussion, man. Just the breakdowns that we were having, speaking about, gentrification in places like Charlotte. I see it in Athens, Georgia. Atlanta is absolutely a victim of it. People are misconstruing the data. We brought that out back in 2022, which said that Atlanta is no longer majority Black. Now, that doesn't mean that the population, they're not the majority there, right? As a population, they are the majority, but they're under 50% representation. This is what gentrification does. And I watch, like, somebody at the man-to-man meeting was breaking down how Charlotte, for instance, is becoming gentrified. And he was breaking down how the same companies that are building all of these new properties are with these exorbitant rents are the same ones that own the storage units that are all over the city, everywhere you go, and they look nice too. And what happens is you're paying rent twice. You're paying rent, and then you can't afford the rent, and you get put out. Then you have to pay rent to keep your stuff in storage. These people are eating off of us. The rich are getting richer, and the poor, we're not getting the effing thing. So, we gotta we have to change that. We have to change that. Shout out to our brother Judicially Affirmed for the contribution. He says, are they telling Elon to go back to Africa? Are they telling Elon, hey, I'm gonna start saying that. I'll tell you that. I'm gonna start saying that. Go back to Africa, Elon. Go back to Africa. But like I said, there's a split. There's definitely a split on, people that support Elon and people that support Trump. I think this fight is good. I really do. We've not had political solidarity, and we need political solidarity. They're showing us what not to do. They're showing us what not to do. Trump is essentially a German American. His family came from Germany, his mother and father, if I'm not mistaken. He is a several generation immigrant to this country. I'm pretty certain probably the original the spelling of his last name is Trumph. Trump. I'm willing to bet that's what it is. And if not, I'm willing to bet that I'm close in that regard. Elon Musk is an Afrikaner from South Africa. These are European colonialists, predominantly Dutch, but different groups of Europeans that went and took over South Africa. When it took over South Africa. My people's are saying correct. Okay, I got a smart chat, man. I definitely have a smart chat. Let me see. Let me get back to some of these notes. Let's get back to some of these notes. All right, the good. So this is the populist perspective, right? So I knew that Trump was a populist for a long time. And when he was running in 2016, I heard his populist message, and I'm going to be honest with y'all, it resonated with me. Trump's populist message resonated with me. And then once he started getting deeper into politics, we started to see the typical white power structure kind of grab him. And then the next thing you know, there's a whole bunch of racist stuff going on. But initially, I didn't see that. And in this go round with the Trump campaign, I can safely say that I didn't see that. Not coming from Trump, not when it came to us. Not when it came to us. So, and there's questions that one could have, and rightfully so. We did a video called Is Donald Trump a Racist? We did a whole breakdown, and we showed, what is a racist? We've done deep dives into American history right here on the Be the Power channel. And many of us have done deep dives into history our whole lives. A racist is a racist. Pitchfork Ben Tillman was a racist. His understudy, Strom Thurmond, was a racist. Jim Crow Joe Biden, before he, had to switch and become this politically feasible person on the left, was a straight up and down racist. Those people were racist. And they have a record of being racist. So, not to rehash that, but I didn't see that. And so I felt comfortable with the direction of where the country was moving with Trump as opposed to the Democrats. They are legislating debauchery and ignoring our people, ignoring us while having us captured at the same exact time. We would never, ever win under the Democrats. And when I say win, I'm talking about our neighborhoods being fixed. I mean, they controlled the White House, 12 out of the past 16 years. and nothing got done for our people. Nothing at all. Nothing. Crime, in some instances, got worse in some areas. And where it died down at, it was because, so many people were locked up already. Or people were trying to do better. The reason why we got into the drug game and the street trade is because of the lack of opportunities and the historical disinvestments that our communities have undergone for generations in this country. I mean, so, let's get back to these notes though. All right. So the good of the bill is it boosts manufacturing and energy independence. All right. So I've not done a deep dive into the bill, and I will. I'm going to sit down on my tablet now that this thing has hit the fan the way that it has. And usually I'll grab this stuff and I really go through it. I really do. But I got a daughter graduating high school. I've been running around crazy. I just got a new grandson that just came into the world, so I've been on a little high as of late and dealing with life, life as it comes, right? We're not perfect just because you see us behind these microphones. We still deal with the everyday rigmaroles of life. But I will sit down and go through as much. The bill is big. And what I've noticed over the years in observing politics is that when a bill has that much in it, they don't want the general public to read all of it. But I'm going to read every last sentence in the bill. I'll probably sit down and do that tomorrow or over the next 2 days because it's really a lot to read. All right. The bill appeals to working class Americans. So you have Stephen Miller coming out saying that the bill will eventually help Americans. Now, I don't know how that helps us, right? When they're using words like middle class and working class, what we have to understand is that classism is in effect. And some people don't want to accept that, but it's a fact. That's why they use working class, middle class. The group that they never mention is the poor class. They never speak about raising the poor class, up from off of the floor. They start at the middle and go up. Just leave the poor, because if you understand U.S. monetary operations and modern monetary theory, you understand that unemployment is a tangible aspect of this economy. You understand that, right? I might get into some of that later. Rejects symbolic gestures in favor of real development. And that depends on who you're asking, right? Because the administration is incentivizing companies to bring their companies from overseas back to the U.S. How does that look for us? Are you going to keep our communities impoverished so that we can make up the prison class, where a lot of the people typically that are on the right are either private owners or are aligned with the owners of private prisons, and we're going to be working for these jobs wearing pinstripes, so to speak? Or are you saying that these jobs are going to come over here and you're going to incentivize them so that they can pay livable wages? Especially, my concern is the American freedmen, because we have it the worst in this country. I can't speak for all other Americans, because by the statistical metrics, most other Americans are doing way better than us. And I can pull up some charts and graphs to prove that point. And the last question is, does it actually deliver for the underserved? And the underserved, which is the poor class, there's nothing in here for that group. And I'm going to say us, because I am in that underserved community. I'm in that underserved community. Thank y'all. I see the congrats. I see the congrats, excuse me. Big Papa. It's my third grandchild. I know I ain't looking like I know I ain't looking like a grandpa, but I'm Big Papa Bear up in this piece, Big Papa Bear. But so let's get back to it. The bad, right? The fiscal and elite critiques. Elon Musk called it a disaster. He called it a disgusting abomination. That was the first shot that he took at Trump. That was the first shot. It was an indirect shot that he took at Trump. And I was like, yeah, this thing is about to hit the fan. Accusations of pork and insider benefit. Adds trillions to the deficit, may increase inflation, 2.4 trillion over 10 years. And there's no structural reform. None. And one of the things that it did, it cut out the ESG programs, right? The environmental, social, and governance issue programs. I think I got that right. It cut those programs out. So, there's some things that people are looking at and saying, okay, these are going to hurt everyday Americans in the long run. It's not going to be of any benefit to us. It's not. My sister Reed said Trump knew that it was going to come to this. Of course. I heard it during the campaign when he was saying, I like Elon Musk's cars and the EV, but we gotta, we keep the gas vehicles coming. I knew it during the campaign that there was gonna be some issues. I knew it. I'm telling y'all, man. I should have spoke on some of that stuff. Political profits over here. Political profits. All right. So yes, like I said, I was in a space earlier, and somehow Grok is integrated into Twitter Spaces. So I'm gonna try to figure that out the next time I do a Twitter/X space to see if I can ask questions real time that were being played in the Twitter space. And I'm gonna see if whatever we're discussing, if we can get some on-the-spot answers if we need to look up some things. So we all know what's going on, right? I showed the tweets. Musk supported Trump, flipped on him, personal attacks going back and forth, memes, threats, right? Trump talking about decommissioning the space program that he has, like this. I mean, right? What we're witnessing is that populist base versus that billionaire elite class. Who do like Zuckerberg and Bezos? Whose side do they fall on in this fight? It would have to be on the side of the president. But if you're looking at, well, Zuckerberg, Musk, and Bezos, I mean, what happens if they put, this is like some of the richest people in the world. What happens if they put their money together? What happens if they put their money together? You got to think, will Elon pull a Bloomberg? Bloomberg spent $1 billion+ in 2020 on his campaign. This dude was handing out bags of money. That's why I have the thumbnail the way that I have it. It's exactly why I have that thumbnail the way that I have it. So whereas Trump is holding the ballot and Elon is holding a bag of money. Just saying, money talks at the end of the day. Elon was out there. Elon, if I'm not mistaken, spent $1 million a day in Pennsylvania. This man kicked out some bread. Millions. What happens if these billionaires, Musk and Bezos, if I'm not mistaken, are the two richest people on the planet? Then you have to ask yourself the question, how does that look for us? Where does that leave us? Where does that leave the American freedmen in this equation, because it seems like we're going to keep getting left out. But what we can do is what we've been saying on this platform the whole time. We can become the power ourselves. We can become the Donald Trumps, the Mike Johnsons, and the Mitch McConnells, and whoever you want to be or name on the left. I don't like nobody I named really, but I don't like nobody on the left either. They all a bunch of phonies, all of them. You bring up the topic of reparations and you see their true colors. AOC, Bernie Sanders, it doesn't matter. And we've covered that right here on this platform. But like I said, man, Senator Way sounds good to me. Governor Way, I like Governor Way. Think of House Representative and your last name, or State Representative and your last name, or U.S. House Rep or U.S. Senator and your last name. Think of Governor and your last name. Hell, think of the executive, I'm just saying, United States President and your last name. We are in a different time now. And most of what we've dealt with has been gaslighting us to not pursue political power. But those days are over. Those days are over. Now it's time for us to grab the bull by the horns. And we've been building up that be the power muscle over the past couple years to do just that. Grab the bull by the horns, take it down to the ground, rustle it, show that we now have control of it. And if you're ready for that, let's go. Let's go, man. Let's go. My sister Reed said, money talks, bullshit runs a marathon. This is why our message is so important. We got to get in front of the people with the money. For the first time, let me see. This guy that follows us, man, white guy. And he said, it's time to form a coalition between the American freedmen and the WASPs. Now, when I grew up, WASP meant whites are still prejudiced. I'm like, what? I was so confused. So I was like, but I had been hearing the term sporadically here and there. So I looked it up. No, WASP means white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. And I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know how that would work, but this is America. At the end of the day, to win out on a broad scale, we're going to have to form coalitions. But we can, by our own sheer numbers, by ourselves, control a state. And in controlling the state, we control those U.S. Senate seats. Sheer numbers. We don't need nobody for that. We just need us. We just need 22% of our people to get back to the South and spread out in places like Georgia and Alabama and Mississippi and Tennessee and North and South Carolina, Virginia, Delaware, Louisiana. It's exactly what we need. And we will have that power. And we need our people with the money to step up. Because like my sister Ree says, money talks, bullshit runs a marathon. And being that we not talking no bullshit over here, this is an organization with ideas that real money can be put behind. This white paper going to be coming out really, really soon. And, we're going to show people that we did not come here to play. I showed y'all the legislation earlier. I may pull that up again. My brother Judicially Affirmed said, let's see the WASP publicly advocating for our reparations so we know they're real allies. And I've seen a few, especially the guy that I'm mentioning. I think his name is Brian. As a matter of fact, his name is Brian. Right now, that's one person. I would need to definitely see more people. But, I've been in conservative spaces, and I've been shocked by some commentary coming from certain people. I've seen them say if we can give billions of dollars to illegal immigrants, then we can give billions of dollars to our American black citizens. I've heard that with our own ears. Yeah, my sister Ree said that white paper is serious. Yeah, she read it. She called the other day, called the group chat. She was like, yo, I just gotta give you props, man. That joint is crazy. And you know, it's a good work. It's a good work. And it was written for legal minds to analyze, for constitutionalists to pour over, for activists that want to get something done for our people, and they keep hitting that brick wall because they keep trying to insert this fictitious construct of race into the fray. This white paper is going to eliminate those problems. It's going to eliminate those problems. All right, there go Brian right there. He said there are more. There are more. So, you know, that this alliance can be built. At the end of the day, we are Americans, first and foremost. Our problem is we've been led to believe that we weren't Americans. And so we've always been anti-American. You know what, Sister Kelly? Send me a text, Sister Kelly, and I'll text you the paper, because it's under review right now on this website that publishes legal and all types of academic white papers. So just send me a text so I can remind myself to send you the link so you can read it or download it. It's 16 pages, but it flows, man. It's one of those, it's like watching a good movie. It's like watching a good movie. It really flows. So let me see. Let's get back to some more of these notes. Right. So back to the Bloomberg point. Musk could use X. He's gonna use X. That's why he's tweeting what he's tweeting. These tweets have 44 to 50 million engagement hits on them. He may start his own PACs. He may get those super donations from the Bezos, the Zuckerbergs, et cetera, et cetera. The tech bros are heavy on the X app, and I can only imagine that they're split right now. Can only imagine. So will Elon buy influence, or will he amplify new political voices? That's a question that has to be asked. How if somebody comes along and says, I stand against Trump, somebody popular, say, I stand against what Trump is doing. This big, beautiful bill is nothing more than more swamp fodder. And Elon says, I'm about to drop a big bag on you. We watched the Bloomberg, when people got them bags, they were singing a different tune. Now, some of our people was taking them bags and dumping them flyers in the garbage. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all, you know. Shout out to y'all, man. But yeah, some of them they were taking those bags and dumping them flyers in the garbage, man. So I don't know, man. You see. You want to see. So what does this mean for us? Right? Both of them, they overlooked us, in my opinion. Trump has been in office well over 100 days. If you were going to do a big, beautiful bill, it would include elements of your platinum plan, at least in my opinion. I'm not the most political savvy person, but I can give you what I have and what I think I know. But what I do know is that there's nothing specific in that bill that will help pull up that poor class, which largely consists of American freedmen, American freedmen families. Like, let's personalize it. What I have a son that just had a newborn baby. He's 23 years old. What does the future look like for him? A paper was published by, who published this paper? It was a government entity, a federal government entity. I can't think of it right now, but this paper was published in 2022. And it said that black men, between 40% of black men between the ages of 25 and 34, I believe is the age range, live below the poverty line in the United States of America, or at or below. So it's that $25,100 or $21,500. One of y'all could correct me on that. And I'm going off memory right now. You can't build a family, or that's rent money, because you've allowed Chinese companies to come in and become corporate landlords. They've taken over the real estate market, and they've hired whites to be like the enforcement of gentrification. And this is what leads to my speculation that Elon is going to drop a bag off. No. Drop bags off. I mean, there was a Russian TV, RT, Russia TV. You had reporters that were reporters in the United States, regular white folk, that took that Russian money and became reporters, criticized the United States at times as well. People care about the money in this capitalist society. And that's what this bill is, this big, beautiful bill. From what I see so far, it is the same old, same old. Same old, same old. For us, we got to start reframing our power locally. It's one of the things that I spoke at the man-to-man meeting this past Monday in Charlotte. Our political presence means everything. Getting our young men and women to vote means everything. We can't let them be lulled back to sleep. We simply cannot. We cannot let our youth be lulled back to sleep. We can't. So China owns so many subdivisions and acres of land. That's what we're dealing with right now, these quadrupling rents. That's what we're dealing with. Our politicians are selling out. They don't care. They care about power. They care about raising money for fundraising in their next political cycle. That's what they care about. That's what they care about. They don't care about us. The people that we elect, even locally, they do not care about us at all. They don't. Yeah, there's nothing in that bill, brother, judicially affirmed, that directly benefits American freedmen. So what you're going to hear, if somebody questions Trump or anybody on Trump's team, what you're going to hear is trickle down economics. That's what you're going to hear. When the jobs come back from overseas, we're going to put everybody back to work, especially the African-American community. We're going to put them back to work like we've never put them to work before. Meanwhile, you're cutting welfare, subsidies, etc. It's like this thing has the potential to be a clusterfuck. This thing has the potential to be a real live clusterfuck, family. I'm just saying. So, I showed y'all, right? Because we got to build our policy and our infrastructure on our own. Let me show y'all again our bill in Massachusetts. It's like we wrote this with our own hands, family. United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen. We had sessions with the representative out there, Fluka Oakley Reed. We submitted proof of concepts as well to their judiciary committee out there to see if this would pass the smell test. See if we could get these things going, right? This is what I mean. That, like, this is, let me see. Let me, oh, I see what I'm doing. Hold on. So this is Bill HD 3879. Once it passes through the next phase of their judiciary committee, is going to get a new bill number. It's going to get smart. Let me show y'all something. Matter of fact, let me move this. See if y'all can see this. This is an emergency preamble, right? This is powerful. And I misinterpreted what it meant in my tweet when I put it out there. So apologies to everybody, but I did clarify it on that tweet, right? For all, we got a lot of people watching on X, on Twitter. Come on over to the Be the Power YouTube channel. Click like on the video. Give us a subscribe. Hit that little notification icon next to the subscribe icon so you'll be notified every time Be the Power goes live and drops our, what I like to call, dynamic content, because it is. It really is. But this bill, written by the hands of United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen, was given emergency preamble status. This means that, let's read it. Whereas the deferred operation of this act would tend to defeat its purpose, which is to forthwith establish a Massachusetts Office of Freedmen Affairs. Therefore, it is hereby declared to be an emergency law necessary for the immediate preservation of the public convenience. This means that the Massachusetts House had to agree. You know, I'm just giving a summary of what happened, you know, based on the research, for it to have this status. So once this thing gets voted on and it gets passed, and we are very confident that it is, it's not going to take 90 days like bills typically do after the governor signs it. It will go into effect immediately. The fact that this bill has this emergency preamble on it shows other legislators the urgency by which this bill is being pushed. When you talk to serious people and they know that you're real and you're not a BS artist, and you're able to stand on what it is that you represent, in our case, this freedmanism thing of ours, and then they're able to give it to their legal team, their judicial committee, their legal scholars, and have them pour over it, and then come back and say, this may pass the test, then the people that are serious in government, like the Representative Fluka Reed, she's going to take that and she's going to push it, and that's exactly what she did. And, you know, this is, you know, I'm proud. I'm proud of our work. Again, shout out to my team, United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen. Shout out to Be the Power, man. We working. We are working for real. We're working. And shout out to everybody that's working across the country. Shout out to everybody that's working across the country. We over here are setting a blueprint and a framework. You know, I'll read through some of this. This will be a part of their general laws. And they have amended Chapter 6E of the Massachusetts, or well, will amend Chapter 6E of the general laws to add this crucial piece to their legislation. Chapter 6F, Office of Freedmen Affairs. I mean, it feels so good. It rolls right off the tongue. Just rolls off the tongue. Section 1, the Commonwealth recognizes the unique needs of American freedmen, defined as descendants of persons emancipated from slavery in the United States. The language is key. Now they, altered a word or two here and there, but like I said earlier, they didn't change too much of anything. Most of how we wrote it is intact. It continues. It acknowledges their historical and ongoing marginalization and cultural erasure. This chapter establishes the Office of Freedmen Affairs, acknowledging the historical and ongoing marginalization and cultural erasure of American freedmen. This office will preserve their heritage, address ongoing inequities, and improve social determinants of health through targeted advocacy, policy recommendations, and resource allocation. This comes from the minds of the United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen, family. My team and I, we are about this. And if it sounds like I'm boasting a little bit, I am. You get tired of being so humble and modest all the time. I am boasting. It's time for us to get a little boastful. It's time for us to start beating our chest a little louder so everybody else can start beating the drums and we can start waking this thing up all across the country. Section 2, A, the Office of Freedmen Affairs is hereby established as a state agency to provide resources, advocacy, and oversight on matters affecting American freedmen residing in the Commonwealth. Like, this is going to become law. This is going to become law. We will have the first official Freedmen Affairs agency established in the United States of America since Reconstruction. That's huge. That's huge. Visit our website, usadof.org. Hit that membership link. Fill out that application. Come join the organization. Come join. It's a few of us. It's a handful of us. It's like that movie 300. For those of you that seen that movie, right? When I think it was Leonidas. No, not Leonidas. The guy was telling the story of Leonidas. And he was saying what happened. He said Xerxes and his army know what happened at the hands of 300 of us, like the utter terror and pain that they felt. He said, but now we stand 10,000 strong. Imagine if we stood a couple hundred strong across this country. Just imagine that. Right now, what you're looking at is the results of 6 people that represent the board of United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen. And we have memberships. We have our membership meetings, and it's been about a month and some change since we had the last meeting. We've been busy. We were putting this thing together, but we will be calling another membership meeting really, really soon. These things have to be reorganized. Things have to be reorganized. But I wanted to share this because this is important. We wrote this. We wrote this. Let's look at some of what this office will do. Advocating for the equitable allocation of state resources, funding, and opportunities tailored to American freedmen. 3, enhancing access to state programs, benefits, and services for American freedmen through strategic outreach and education initiatives. 4, developing and implementing programs to expand economic opportunities and workforce development tailored to the needs of American freedmen. 5, establishing and managing, they got a typo in there, genealogy research and historical documentation to support individuals in identifying their American freedmen heritage. 6, conducting policy analysis, program evaluations, and progress reporting to ensure state policies align with the needs of American freedmen, unlike the big, beautiful bill that we have been critiquing on this live stream tonight. Soliciting input from American freedmen communities and other stakeholders to shape the office's priorities and activities. Partnering with public and private organizations to amplify the office's impact and ensure alignment with broader equity goals. Now, they, added some of these words in here. So, we can't, I would say 99% of this is us. But they got 1% of some things that they added in there. But, it is what it is. We can't fight them on that. That we'll take that 99% every day of the week. Advising state agencies on challenges and barriers faced by American freedmen residents and recommend strategies to address them. Section 4, right? It's talking about the staff. B, the office may contract with academic institutions, private consultants, organizations dedicated to remedial justice, or other professionals as necessary to fulfill its responsibilities. Section 5, just talks about reports, submitting an annual report to the governor. I mean, this is powerful, man. And the last section, right, it says the Section 3A, the office shall be funded through annual appropriations by the general court. They're going to set money aside out of the state's budget, man. Like, y'all don't know how powerful this is. But B is even as important. The office may accept and solicit funds, including gifts, grants, donations to support its mission. I'm just saying, family. I'm just saying, it's time to make moves. It's time for us to make moves. No more, I think about doing the Twitter spaces, and then I quickly, I'm like, I don't want to do the Twitter spaces anymore. I'll just tell myself, I'm like, I don't want to do the Twitter spaces anymore. Forget the Twitter spaces. But sometimes in the last couple Twitter spaces we've had, they've been really, really powerful. So we got on here tonight to talk about this big, beautiful bill and the beef between Elon and Trump, and the fact that it's popping in these political streets. And where does that leave us? Where does that leave us? Because nothing is changing for us. Nothing is being proposed to change for us. And what we did in Massachusetts, we have to be able to do at the federal level. How do we do that? Let me put a link to my article that I wrote. Reclaiming Power, the Freedmen's Political Renaissance and the Path to Justice. Let me put that in the chat. I want you all to read that when you get a chance. Let me pull it up, matter of fact. Pull this up. Pull this up. So this is my paper. This is my paper that I wrote for Medium. It's crazy. All of my other papers got a bunch of hand claps. This one only has 2. But this is one of the most powerful. Reclaiming Power, the Freedmen Political Renaissance and the Path to Justice. And this image says a lot because, my bad. My bad, y'all. My bad. This image says a lot because if you know of our Back South strategy, which I mentioned earlier, you know what the plan is when it comes to United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen. And that's to get our people back south. That is the ultimate goal, to get back to those southern states where we will control the state. Point blank, period. And that's what's needed. It's what's needed. There's nothing more important, in my opinion, than that. So I'm going to scroll past a lot of that and speak to the point that I'm speaking to, right? The back south strategy, reclaiming political power. You all know that follow the platform that we interviewed Charles Blow, who wrote the book, The Devil You Know. I have the book right there on the desk. And like I said, right, that concept dovetails perfectly with the aspirations of the Freedmen conscious political movement. It inspired the movement, to be honest with you. We were talking about it and how to possibly turn out the base, like 100%, if possible, of voting age American freedmen in these states. But when Blow came out with this book, it upgraded our thinking. And now we've claimed it for ourselves, because Blow did a documentary on it on, I think that was Cinemax or HBO, and he liberalized, LGBTQ'd it out. And it just, the message that he wrote in the book compared to what he did with the documentary they're just two different things. So now it's ours. We've deboted. We've deboted. But I want you all to look at this map. This is a heat map that shows where our people are. The darker the purple, the higher the concentration of American freedmen. This is where we are. This is where the sun shines at, y'all. And if I had my way, I would get all of my people from out of Texas and all of my people from out of Florida as well. And I know people are like, oh, you know, we got roots here. And, you know, like, for those people, you know, and I'm not going to argue with you on that, because you have every right to keep that sentiment. But it's time for us to build something new. And it's time for us to look at ourselves as one people. Many of us have been displaced from this point and have been in places like New York, Chicago, Detroit, etc., for a couple generations now, seeking better opportunities, fleeing domestic terrorism in the South. We couldn't fight back, because if we fought back, then the judicial system was against us. It wasn't like some tribal war in some land in Africa where the government looked like them and the people fighting each other looked like themselves. No, we had a people that hated us due to the color of our skin. And they went at us. And whenever we went back at them, other people that looked like them, that controlled the judicial system, that were the law enforcement, made sure that we paid, and usually we paid with our lives. They took away the retaliation force from us. And so we had to leave the South. We had to. But now, and I'm very careful to say we are not our ancestors. We are definitely our ancestors, 100%. It's just that them people can't do that to us no more. We will fuck them up, point blank, period. It is what it is. Can't do that. But even more, when we control these areas like this, we then control the judicial system. We control the law enforcement. We control the state house. We control the state senate, the General Assembly in general. We control the U.S. House rep seats. We control the Senate. If two senators can hold up anything. We've seen that with Manchin and what's that woman's name? I can't think of her name right now. We've seen it with the Asian American senators that told Biden, if you don't pass some legislation for the Asian American Pacific Islander community, we're going to sit on our hands when it's time for you to nominate your justices and other people to key positions that take a Senate vote. 2 people. Imagine if we were able to field 12 U.S. senators. Take control of our own political destiny. That is what we've been preaching here at United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen. That's right. Tammy Duckworth in Illinois and Macy Hirono in Hawaii. But the other one I'm speaking about is on the Democratic side. It's Manchin. She's a Democrat, but she kind of leans Republican. I can't think of who it is at the moment. But yeah, fam, we can have this power. We can have this power. Our message is spreading in the streets outside of the Twitter X sphere because people have come onto this space and sought to make it Clubhouse. And that's not what X is. I go into rooms, spaces, and I watch as the white crypto guys give away Bitcoin and other coins and altcoins to people that are wide-eyed and new to their platform. Now, I know me. I would do the same for my people. I would do the exact same. But that sentiment is not shared. And I know that we have been the victims of some real messed up psychological skullduggery, if we're being honest. And for many, political maturity is a long ways off. But for those of you who are or deem yourself politically mature and you're ready to make moves, come rock out with United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen. Visit our website, USADOF.org. Fill out that application. Go fill out that application. Come rock out with us. Our job is to get things done. I want the purple on this map to represent work United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen have put in the South. The darker the purple, the greater the work, right? Let me see. I did a chart. Of course, I had to plug this into AI. And it's so crazy because Josh came on and actually fixed the numbers when we was in the Twitter space. I might have to actually change this chart, but it shows the total population of the state, the 9 states that we're targeting, right? Let me make sure it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Yep, the 9 states that we're targeting. And it shows the current Black population of each state. Now, when we say the current Black population, this data is not disaggregated. So we don't know if these are all American freedmen. But I would venture to say that 95% and better, the American freedmen make up 95% of these numbers. Mississippi, 37.8%. So Mississippi only needs 362,553 more freedmen that are eligible to vote just to take over the political landscape there. This is not an impossibility. This takes resources. I'm no Marxist, but I am a dialectical materialist. I am like Fred Hampton. I deal with reality as it is, period. I listen to people in these Twitter spaces talk a whole bunch of fantastical stuff, and it, And yeah, if you want to say I'm stepping on them, I am, because we've been doing this for a good couple of years in this space, and the fruits of our works I just showed with that piece of legislation. And there's another piece of legislation that's actually in the Judiciary Committee, and once that gets voted on in the state of Massachusetts, it'll be an American Freedmen Commission. That was something that was already in play. Our focus is not on commissions. Our focus is on the American Freedmen Affairs agencies across states, across this country. Hopefully, they'll be absorbed by the federal government, right? We got to take our steps first, taking baby steps. But our baby steps are like, imagine a man that's 1,000 feet tall and he had a baby. His baby's footprint is still it'd be crazy. So even our baby steps are huge. Even our baby steps are huge. But you know, for those of you that are analyzing this chart, you can see I see judicially affirmed. Sidebar, Halliburton did it again. Yeah, the Knicks, man. I'm glad they got rid of Thibodeau. Bring in Mark Jackson, and I might watch some of the games next year, not just the preseason, because I've been gave up on the Knicks, man. I've been gave up on them. But y'all see what it is, fam. Y'all see what it is, man. We just trying to stake our place in America. Immigrants have been able to come over here and thrive. Thrive. Whole strip malls. I know I speak about some of this stuff and it sounds redundant at times, but I can't help it. You watch your people walk around homeless. You watch your people walk around homeless in a city that their ancestors have been citizens of for generations, and you watch these new people come in that can barely speak English, and they're living in nice homes with great tech jobs. What we're proposing with our American Freedmen Affairs Agency, man, they stop Job Corps, right? The federal government, they stop funding Job Corps. Our Freedmen Affairs Agency can take care of that. Our Freedmen Affairs Agency can go to American freedmen in the inner cities, offer them skills training, offer them trade training, offer them financial training, offer them a form of JROTC training. All of these things are in the works, preparing them for military service. People are saying that the new rules on razor bumps is going to affect our men in the military. Okay, so then that means that we have to come up with a formula, because this is just how dope we are as a people, right? So we'll just come up with some formula to kill the razor bumps. Now we have a thing to focus on. Now we got something to focus on. Now what? So while we, and I'm speaking of United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen, are in the process of re-educating our people and helping them to understand their status in this country as American freedmen, and teaching them run-of-the-mill military tactics and boot camp, etc., preparing them for active duty, it will be a success for us, because I'm thinking about us, freedmen first, point blank period. Point blank period. So, you know, I know that for many of us, it's tough. You know, it's tough because we look at us and we don't see how things are going to move for us in this country. It's like, how do we fix it? How can we fix this thing, man? It's just seeming like we can't fix it. Our people are You know, they're falling all over the place, And I believe that we at United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen, I believe we have that fix. I really do. I believe we have that fix. I believe with my whole heart that we have the fix. Freedmen first, freedmen forever. You'll never put us back in chains. None of that. All of this Project 2025 talk, those weak black Democrats was doing during the election cycle, they was just making us look weak, like somebody's just gonna come put us back in chains. Freedmen forever. Forever. Nobody's putting us back in chains. Nobody. So, you know, I say that to say, let's go. Let's get it, fam. Let's get it. Shout out first and foremost to everybody that watched tonight's discussion, man. It was a powerful discussion. You know, we spoke about the bills of the big beautiful bill. We spoke about the beef between Elon and Trump. You know, it's a thing right now. Trump called an emergency meeting. Stephen Miller was supposed to be doing a Fox News interview, and Trump was like, yo, get to the White House, man. Oval Office, let's go. And I don't know what's going to happen at this point. I don't know what's going to happen. But nothing in that bill directly helps American freedmen. Nothing. And it's a lot of stuff in there. And I'm going to go over it some more. But let me just say, from what I've seen so far, my cursory review, there's nothing in that bill that helps American freedmen. Fam, go to our website, bethepower.org. We have a voter registration link on that website. Our agenda is freedmen first. It's time for us to start organizing locally. You know, I'm doing my part. I'll just say that. But we need to do it together. I believe that we'll be powerful together, emulating what we've done in Massachusetts all across this country. Because this country, our people, the American freedmen, they need us. And Martin Luther King spoke about the creative minority. He said it doesn't take everybody. All it takes is the creative minority. And when you're working for the people, the majority, and they see that your work is real and that you ain't on no BS, they're going to get behind you in the way that they got behind King, in the way that they got behind Malcolm, and all of our other civil rights giants going all the way back to Frederick Douglass. And that's a fact. That's a fact. And we stand in their shoes right now. We stand on their shoulders. We are them today. We are them today. We are armed with a little more weaponry. I pray that I could be as wise as those men, because you're talking about some of the greatest minds, W.E.B. Du Bois. I mean, you know, we could name them, Booker T. Washington. These are some of the greatest minds in American history. We could only pray that we reach their level of wisdom. But in the meantime, we're going to stand in their shoes. We're going to put on their freedom fighting garments, and we're going to go out there and we're going to kick ass and take names, because that's just what we do, point blank, period. So, family, visit our website, USADOF.org. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, the YouTube channel is Be the Power. The website is bethepower.org. If you would like to support the platform, $ Be the Power is the Cash App. United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen is an official 501c3 organization. On our website, USADOF.org, there is a donation link. We barely get any money. We work off of our own dime, although we are a 501c3. And, you know, we have lives, we have bills, while other people are living like ticks, subsisting on the neck of cats and dogs, claiming to do the type of work that we're doing and not producing anything. These are the people that are eating. Help us so we could, you know, continue to do our job in helping our people, because we're not going to stop either way. We're not going to stop either way. So with that said, I'm going to close this out. And yeah, man, we came to do a thing today, and we did that. I just wanted to touch on this beef, and it's my way of keeping the stream going, man. I be so busy, I don't be wanting to do this stuff no more. If anybody would like to become a contributor and you know, come up here and do some of this work with Be the Power, send an email, man. btplivecast@gmail.com. btplivecast@gmail.com. Matter of fact, I'll put that link in the chat. I mean, the email address. Yeah, man. Send the email. You know, we're looking for contributors. If maybe you're in the field of economics, maybe you have a legal background. We need people to do legal analysis. We need people to give us an understanding of the markets. I don't fully understand that stuff. I'll be having to ask Josh, like, yo, Josh, what does this mean? You know? And, you know, like I said, people have families, so we don't have time to get on here like we used to, juggling family, juggling work, and juggling the work that we were doing for our people nationwide. So, I mean, we got to do what we have to do. But we're going to keep this thing moving regardless. But if you would like to be a BTP contributor, send that email, btplivecast@gmail.com. btplivecast@gmail.com, and you know, check for us. I think we're gonna cover this thing for as much as we can. I might do another stream in a few days breaking down this big, beautiful bill to see if it is what they're saying that it is. I don't know, man. You know, some people saying it's bad, very, very bad, with some good provisions. Some people are saying it's just swamp juice. It's just more swamp juice that the swamp monsters enjoy sipping from. Elon called it a disgusting abomination. And now this dude posting videos of Trump partying with Jeffrey Epstein. It's getting heated out there. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. So it is what it is. So family, we're going to get up off here. Let me see. Any more announcements? I don't have any more announcements at the moment. Be on the lookout. We're doing something for Juneteenth in the state of North Carolina, the city of Charlotte. Myself and brother Andre Barnes from Numbers USA. We're going to do something on immigration, reparations, and gentrification. And that's going to be powerful. Y'all do not want to miss that. So y'all be on the lookout for that. If you're in the Charlotte, North Carolina, around the time of Juneteenth, come holler at us. Come check us out. I'm accessible. I'm approachable. I'm the type of person that you could definitely see in real life, everywhere and anywhere, point blank, period. So yeah, man. All right, let me get up off there. So I'll leave you all with the motto of our platform, and that is: don't just fight the power, become the power. And then and only then will you have the power to make a change. And with that, I say peace.
We'll be right back.